Greetings, Aries and Aries rising. This is your Western forecast for March 2024. Mercury is the planet of communications, information, what you're thinking about, what you're planning. Mercury usually is in a sign for 3 to 4 weeks, but because Mercury is going to go retrograde at the beginning of April, the Mercury is going to remain in Aries, your sign, for 2.5 months. And so your whole mental attention and planning and discussing is on new beginnings, new ventures, taking the lead. However, most of this month is in preparation. So you're coming up with all these new ideas, like new jobs, new business, maybe even changes in relationships. But there's still a lot to process and develop. There's also going to be this month, at the end of the month, a full moon lunar eclipse. We have eclipses every 6 months. 2 weeks before or after a lunar eclipse is a new moon solar eclipse, which we're going to have the next one in April, the solar eclipse in April. But on March the 24th, 2024, we're going to have a full moon lunar eclipse, and it's going to be falling in your 7th house of partnerships, marriage, contracts. So there's a lot to unpack here. But before I get into all the details and how this can impact your life, if you enjoy these kinds of videos and would like to see more of them, click like and subscribe. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so you can receive the latest postings. And if you go into the description box underneath the video, you'll find a direct link to sign up for my free monthly newsletter or inquire about my booking an astrology reading or my 2-question offer. Now, let's start with the sun. The first 3 weeks, actually the first 19 days, this time each March, the sun is in Pisces. Where the sun is shining in your chart, that's what your attention and your priorities is being more drawn to. But Pisces is the sign prior to Aries. So it's that incubation, transitional, holding pattern. Things are being developed. Things are in incubation, not yet ready to be revealed, not yet ready to be launched. When the launching would begin as early as March the 19th, when the sun goes into Aries. But the new moon will be in Pisces on March the 10th, in that shadow sector. And it's going to hold that Pisces energy, that development of energies for 4 weeks. So that's going to take you to around the April the 9th, April the 8th, April the 9th. And so this new moon is in harmony with progressive, innovative Uranus. So that's helping the world open up to new ideas, moving forwards, bringing more excitement. But your new moon, influenced by Uranus, is in the shadow sector, just meaning that you're studying, you're researching, you're putting a lot of things into process. The Mercury, which is what you are planning and thinking and learning about, goes into Aries on March the 9th. In that, being in your sign or your rising sign, you're mentally focused on new ventures, new ideas, and taking the lead, more visibility. That Mercury is going to go retrograde on early, like April the 1st to the 25th. and then it will continue to go direct till May the 15th. So this is a long time for Mercury to be in fiery, ambitious, assertive Aries, and you are in Aries or an Aries rising. So you're going to be feeling really excited, ambitious, driven for all new directions, all new projects, all new ideas. It's going to come more into focus when the Sun leaves Pisces and goes into Aries on March the 19th. But that new moon is still holding on to that more of that preparation development cycle till about April the 8th. The other thing I want to talk about right now is Venus, the planet of love and creativity and charm. Venus is a one-year cycle through all the signs. Venus is moving into Pisces, into your shadow sector, till April the 4th. Now, socially, you might be having it more low-key, not as social, maybe wanting to socialize more privately with just one or two people. Or maybe sometimes there's some secrets going on. But with the Sun in Pisces and then shining a light on creative and loving Venus in Pisces, this is going to be particularly focused on that creative, loving energies from March the 11th to the 19th. The whole time the Sun is with Venus. So that's putting a spotlight on a lot of creative energies. But maybe you're being attracted to somebody, maybe you're starting a relationship, but you're not ready to let anybody know, keeping it on the down low, because you may not sure, is this going to last? You don't want to embarrass yourself and tell everybody you're all infatuated and then it goes away. But there's a lot of infatuated energy here, a lot of exciting energies, because Mars, physical Mars, goes into Pisces once every 2 years on March the 22nd till the end of April, till April the 30th. So the Mars is going to be, ramping up and heating up the Venus from March the 22nd until April the 4th. That Venus and Mars can be a very passionate time, a very creative time, but it's in the shadow sector. So you're keeping it private, or maybe you're having a secret romance. Venus can also be creative, and all that 12th house could be pulling within and doing a lot of studying and development on creative projects. Or perhaps the Venus-Mars is just motivating a lot of passion behind the scenes of what you're trying to develop. Now, Mars is the ruling planet for Aries. Mars is the warrior planet. Mars is enthusiastic and takes risk and is courageous. Mars is in Aquarius from early February through March the 22nd. So these first 3 weeks of March, that assertive Mars, ruler of Aries, so it's really heating you up, is moving through the sector of teamwork, collaboration, group projects. On a more personal level, the 11th house that the Mars is transiting through is about friendships. So there could be a lot of social activity going on, but with that Venus-Mars, you're keeping maybe more the intimate parts of it more private, more quiet. But with that Mars in the 11th, you could be working in a collaboration and a teamwork to go after some long-term goals. Now, the lunar eclipse. Let's start with the new moon on March the 10th. The new moon is always drawing your attentions to new priorities. There's usually a new moon in a different sign every month, every 4 weeks. And so it's putting that spotlight on a lot of work behind the scenes. And there's a lot of positive energies here because liberating, innovative Uranus is positively influencing this new moon. 2 weeks later will be a full moon, but this is a lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipses will happen about every 6 months, always around 2 weeks around the solar eclipse. So a lunar eclipse is bringing a lot of things that had been hidden because that new moon was focusing on things that are secrets or in development, not yet wanting to be revealed. And then around the 24th is when the full moon lunar eclipse is exact. And you'll be feeling it for those several days. Think of it, a lunar eclipse is like a full moon on steroids. It's really intense. And if it impacts a planet in your chart, whatever that planet represents, could be being emphasized for a month or two as opposed to a couple of days of a regular full moon. But this full moon lunar eclipse is in your 7th house of relationships. So when it comes to business, it could be that you've been working on a project with a partner that can start being more revealed by the end of the month. When it comes to personal relationships, that Venus-Mars that could have triggered a lot of infatuation, a new relationship, it could start being revealed with that full moon lunar eclipse. But you got to be careful because a lunar eclipse is often a time of bringing closure and often revealing anything that's been hidden. And so some Aries and Aries rising, yes, there could be this triggering of an exciting new relationship, but it could also bringing to a head that you want that a relationship is ending on you and you didn't know what was going on because it was going on behind your back, or you have been thinking and planning about and keeping it to yourself and then starting to reveal it the 24th of March and thereafter. Now, this is part of the forecast where I like to break down how do these planetary energies impact your body, your relationships, your business. Now, having all those planets in the 12th house, and the new moon in the 12th house, and then energetic Mars is in the 12th house, starting on the 22nd to the end of April, that can be a time of burning the candles at both ends, staying up late at night, being really tired, being really exhausted. If you have a project, you could be really, and with all that behind the scenes develop it, but you could be obsessing on it, really focus on it, and that could be draining your energies. If you don't have a project, I'd be surprised that if you didn't, but if you didn't have a project, you would just be feeling really stuck and low energy, maybe a bit depressed. So if you are feeling run down and you don't have any kind of big project, it would be a really good idea to try to come up with a new goal, a new focus, and that'll help amp up your energies. And if you are full into developing a major new business project, studying, you may need to pace yourself through March, even into April, so you don't burn out. When it comes to relationships, already touched on this, having the love planet, the social Venus, in your shadow sector, you either may be playing it more privately, more low-key, or keeping secrets. The Venus will leave Pisces and on April the 4th move into Aries. And that's where you're going to start announcing any kind of love interest or starting to come out of the shadows, maybe because you've got these projects well in hand and managed, and now you can get back to having more balance and more social balance with your work life as you get into the beginning of April. And then the full moon lunar eclipse around the 24th of March in your 7th house of relationships, weak relationships, as well as business partnerships and contracts, but also weak, intimate, personal relationships could really show their cracks, could also be revealing it's time to move on and endings. But if you're single, it's very possible with that Venus-Mars that you've been all turned on and attracted to somebody, and maybe you haven't told them, or maybe you're just trying to keep it on the down low, and then it all starts to get revealed that last week, starting around the 24th of March. Now, when it comes to business, that lunar eclipse is going to have a lot to do with partnerships and contracts. But there's all this development of, studying, researching, getting things ready. Because and that Mars, so you're going to have the sun in Pisces for the first 19 days, and then the new moon in Pisces, all in that shadow sector on March the 10th till April the 8th. But Mars, ambitious, assertive Mars, is still in the shadow sector till April the 30th. The whole time, decision-making, communication, Mercury is in your sign in Aries from the beginning of March until May the 15th. So I think March and April is crossing all the T's, dotting all the I's, as they say, fine-tuning, getting everything all wrapped up and ready to go, because you're really planning, a lot of you, some major new goals, some major new projects, but probably when it starts to really become fruitful, or you're really ready to make the announcement, would be more in May, because that Mars is still in that Aries the first 2 weeks of May, and all that behind the scenes development is now it's all finished and ready to go. So I want to thank you for watching. If you like information on how to book an astrology reading or to check out my 2-question offer, visit my website at gardino.co. That's .co. Until next month, be safe and well.